Ooh, Oscar, I'm so sorry.
I could have just walked inside through my door. Adding this whole sequence like adds a whole day to production. But I think it's the effort that you put in is kind of what separates you aside from the rest.
This is Colt Kirwan, and typically he's behind the camera for some of your favorite YouTubers.
Kelly, let me in. It's so cold out here.
What the hell? I work for a lot of creators. Throughout the years, I've been able to kind of like be a sponge and absorb all their knowledge.
Nice camera work.
But his own videos are this kind of whimsical look inside his brain that mix real life and magical realism, which make his videos just pop way out on YouTube. What you just said, like Colt's world, that's what it feels like. Colt moved to New York City with the dream of becoming a YouTuber, but he grinded for a year working as a cinematographer for other creators.
My first year or so in the city, it was just like yes to everyone.
And that grit is apparent in everything he does. Did you keep going down and keep walking back up multiple times?
So I tried to get it in one take, but I just like couldn't get my lines down. In reality, it's like 30 minutes of shaking off the nerves.
In this episode, Colt and I dive into his storytelling technique, why he spends so much time building out his world, and then we just totally nerd out about gear.
This bad boy here, I have like too many of these, honestly.
Also, something really exciting that you need to know about is happening in April. It's called the Camp Film Festival. And the festival is gonna feature films from creators that we've had on the show, like Valspire Family and Jordan Studdard and Shy Guy. This is gonna be the coolest freaking thing in the world. I'm so excited about it. You gotta go get tickets and come to this thing. Colt.
Mr. Conti.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So psyched to have you here. I love your work.
Thank you, thank you.
I can't wait to get into it and start talking about it today. It seems like something happened looks like 2 or 3 years ago on your channel where you started to kind of find your footing.
Yes.
That's like a thing that like everybody dreams of and very few people get there and want to figure out like, how do I find my footing and how do I get shit to start clicking and working?
Yeah.
You did it. You got shit to start clicking and working.
We did it, yeah.
You found an audience. You like started to make stuff that like really resonated with a lot of people, and your creativity is undeniable.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, maybe I'd love to kind of get into like, how did you find your footing? How did you make that transition from like, I have a YouTube channel, I upload some stuff, it doesn't really work, to like, you're a legit vlogger?
Yeah. There's a quote by Seth Rogen where it's like, if you don't quit, you might make it, but if you quit, you definitely won't. My channel back in 2017 is when I started, and it's been a long journey of terrible videos until we kind of get to where we are today. I have to thank a lot of my circle and friends in New York City. Like, I work for a lot of creators, and throughout the years, I've been able to kind of like be a sponge and absorb all their knowledge, and then kind of, in the past 2-3 years, apply what I've learned, and it's kind of worked out. So.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's dive in and start watching.
A lot can change in a year. I've found that life is what you make it out to be. If you choose to do nothing, you'll stay exactly where you are. But if you start to chase after your dreams, you can change so much in a year that you'll be unrecognizable. Hold on, I gotta pick something up real quick. You mind watching this? Can I get a pack of Reds?
When you said, would you mind watching this? I was legitimately confused the first time I watched this video. And then I was like, oh no, he's talking to me.
Yeah.
And like, everybody like talks to the camera and talks to the audience, but never like that. Where did that idea come to you from?
I just think like throughout making videos, I always enjoy kind of like breaking the fourth wall and try to involve the audience somehow. So like if I'm drinking something, I'll hold the camera like, oh, you want a sip too or something like that. And that's just kind of like another part of that style, yeah.
That immediately made me feel like I'm more in it than when I'm just watching videos on the internet.
Can I get a pack of Reds?
Alrighty.
Nope. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right, thank you.
So that's actually not a store clerk. I was like too nervous to go in, and also like it would probably take too long to actually do a transaction. So I asked my roommate if he could like say some lines or something like that. So that's like what that is.
Wait, that's your roommate talking?
Yeah, my roommate Shervin.
Wow. So, okay. So this is like fully orchestrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I just bought my first pack of cigarettes. I'm just kidding. I don't smoke. Never have, never will. You probably shouldn't either. Anyways, today's my birthday.
Okay, there's so much happening like so quickly here. I'm confused as a viewer.
Yes.
Like you're playing with my expectations. Can you kind of talk us through, like, was this clearly this is architected? This is like, I don't want to say scripted, but like it's like pretty planned out.
So this video is kind of the catalyst of kind of what my channel has turned into, but this is kind of the first video where you kind of, I personally just did whatever my creativity wanted, you know, and almost like a dream. It's almost like a fever dream. Like certain things here don't make sense, and we'll see later in the video that like there are certain things that like don't actually make any sense, but it's very much like your dive into Colt world, you know?
Yes. How do you think about the balance of kind of explication versus like leaving people feeling confused? And is that a deliberate choice? Do you think of it like that, or are you just thinking about it a different way completely?
Yeah, I definitely believe in showing rather than telling. I wish I could be a little bit better. I feel like there is a certain line of just like, I've only made certain projects up to this point to where you always get better the more things you do things, but there are certain points where I kind of just do things and hope people understand it.
Take you to places around New York City that brought a lot of change to me in the past.
Looks like it's handheld.
Yes.
Who's holding the camera?
A previous guest, Carissa Santos, aka Life of Riza. She's my partner, and she came to visit me in New York City, and I was like, I really need to get this video done. So she would help me film in the morning, and then we'd like do some fun romantic stuff towards the nighttime.
So, without further ado, let's go to the first location.
Man, I love these shots.
Thank you.
What is this?
So this is this bad boy here.
Ooh.
I love this thing. So this is a Manfrotto 244 mini friction arm paired to a 9-dot Solutions super clamp. You can like really just put it onto anything. It opens like super wide. And then a Leo Photo, just like regular ball head that you can put to it. Yeah.
Nice.
But I love these things. Like I have like too many of these, honestly.
What's the like camera setup though? It's like super fisheye, and you're getting some barrel here. Like, what is that?
So I actually brought my camera. This is my main camera, the Sony a7S III. Got some googly eyes, just, you know, at least so I'm talking to someone, you know. This is a full frame camera, and I always liked the idea of like a fisheye lens. But at the time on the market, it's either you spend so much for a G Master lens or you save money and you're stuck to a manual focus only lens. And then Sony came out with this 11mm, which is made for an APS-C format camera. So this sensor is only so big. It covers more than what this like actual lens is. So then that's why you get that vignette on the side. But this has autofocus, which is great. Yeah. I love in my videos doing something called a plant and payoff. So kind of this is the plant of the birthday cake, and then we'll get to it later in the video, and that would be the payoff. Yeah.
Is it actually in your bag?
It is in my bag. Actually, yeah, it's this big black bag over here. It's so heavy, but this is like my big camera bag.
Where is the camera and where is the cake, and how are you shooting that?
The camera is attached here, and then the cake is like on the other end of this, kind of facing it like that. So then and then I like unzip the side of the bag so the camera could actually like fit in there.
And then that can't be very bright. Are you just cranking the ISO to get that to expose right, or?
Yeah, so the Sony a7S III is super nice because it has dual gain ISO. So you have like your base ISO where there's not too much noise, and then there's a second base ISO at 12,800, which is like a low light beast, and then also the lens goes to an aperture of 1.8, which is pretty fast and lets in a lot of light.
Okay, so this is like shot at 12,000 ISO, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful day in the city. I figured, why not bring you guys around on a little tour of NYC? Come on the Colt train, you know? Back in 2021, I was just a mere mortal among humans, and I had never filmed for YouTubers or anything like that. And I remember Steezy Kane posted on his Instagram story that he was looking for a videographer. I remember I had just gotten this camera.
How much of this is scripted at this point?
The whole video, basically, yeah.
Like word for word, or like general things? Like, you know generally what you're going to be talking?
For this video, I scripted out word for word what to say, but then what I actually end up saying is kind of like a play on what that script was, yeah.
Do you map it out to the point where like you know you're going to transition camera angles at the story?
No. My script for this is literally just like, okay, location here, location here, location here, and then when you get there, I kind of like leave room for whatever to capture. Yeah.
Okay. So can you walk us through your script writing process? Do you start with an outline? Do you start with scenes? Do you have the full picture in focus before you start actually writing the dialogue?
Yep.
How do you actually approach scripting?
I use Notion as the main platform for writing down my ideas, and I just have this long bullet point list of like potential YouTube ideas. When it comes time to actually making them, I'll make a page and it's super simple. It's literally just like potential titles, and then I'll go through intro. Sometimes I'll jump all the way to the conclusion and then kind of figure out in the middle what is needed for that.
So you start with a core idea, intro, then conclusion, and then you figure out what comes in the middle.
Yeah, and I think I got to figure out a better way to do the middle. I feel like a common theme, if you look at every video, it's always like the intro is pretty solid, and then there's this like a motivational, something inspirational quote at the end of the video, which is fun. But then the middle is where kind of it falls apart a little bit, yeah. And that's kind of like on retention editing and all that. But sometimes I enjoy just like letting something breathe and not having it perfectly cut every time. Yeah.
Cool. It's fun. I remember, I think it was Van Neistat who he thought about it in a similar way.
All that we're doing is getting them to watch the end. That's what all this trouble is for. The ending has to be both a surprise and inevitable. And that's the trick. And that's what you have to suffer for.
But the goal of the whole thing is to just get them through the middle sequence.
Yeah. That's how I feel sometimes. Yeah.
Steezy Kane posted on his Instagram story that he was looking for a videographer. I remember I had just gotten this camera, super professional camera, just dumped like $5,000, and I had no idea what I was gonna do, make YouTube videos or something. Obviously, that hasn't worked out, but you're watching this today, so that's good. I sent him a DM, and to my surprise, he got back to me, and the next morning, I was on a train down to New York City, where it was a snowstorm, and we had a huge snowball fight, made it on the news. I remember this is where we threw the snowball fight. Everybody was just surrounded, hucking snowballs. I was running around.
The pacing of your videos, talk us through how you think about like making a cut and when you cut.
For this specific scene, I had this like long monologue to say and I just couldn't say it, and honestly I'm pretty bad talking to the cameras and there's a bunch of people around, so that's why we filmed all these different angles. Like there's a wide, there's me inside the fountain, and then there's like a one off to the side. You can kind of just like run back the lines over and over and over again and kind of hide those like cuts by switching angles.
Okay, got it. So did you like do the whole monologue basically from those three angles and then just chop between them?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. That was such a nice transition. What was that? Walk us through that.
Thank you. I feel like I wanted to get this shot so bad where I stick the camera out of, it's like an action camera out of the window. And then I feel like nobody commented about it, so I was like, oh no, but it was just like a flash of light from the New York City subway.
Oh, there's nothing you added in post there?
At the end, like the last frame you see here, you raise the lumetri color keyframe and then crank the exposure up. And then if you crank the exposure up of the next clip as well, it kind of like blends together.
Yeah, so it's like a white flash, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
God, but so fast, but it just feels so nice. It's like a nice little moment, little piece of eye candy.
You know, filming for Steezy was the coolest thing ever, so surreal. It was the first time I ever filmed for a YouTuber, and I remember just being hooked. I wondered how I could get back into it. Steezy was going back to
Did you keep going down and keep walking back up multiple times?
So this is the train station at Hudson Yards, 34th Street. It's like such a long escalator. I tried to get it in one take, but I just like couldn't get my lines down. So I think we wrote it like 3 or 4 times, and it's a good like 2-3 minutes going up and back down. Yeah.
Do you ever feel weird like talking to a camera in public?
Totally. Yeah.
But you seem so natural here.
In reality, it's like 30 minutes of like shaking off the nerves and saying it over and over and over again.
Let's do another one. Only banger shots, only banger shots, only banger shots.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, it's so funny. I don't see that at all. It looks like you're just fine with it.
That's not the reality.
And there'd be a 6-month gap before we'd film again. But filming for Steezy set me up for the next person that I started working for, and we're headed there to meet him for the first time now, so let's go.
Okay, you really set up this video, and the sort of the premise here is like you learned a ton watching other YouTubers do what they do.
Working for them.
Yeah. How much of it do you attribute to being able to actually see behind the scenes of how these YouTubers are like making their work?
A good bit, like 80% of it, yeah. Seeing people like Casey Neistat is a huge inspiration to me. And from watching his vlogs, you pick up on his style, and that inherently influences your style. And then from working for people that actually have made it their career, that's when you actually are able to apply it. Kelly Wakasa, big inspiration. Now I still work for him, and he was kind of the kickstart for my channel. I did like a day in the life filming behind the scenes for him.
Check it out.
That garnered like 20,000 of his fans to my channel, and then this video kind of like took it off to my own thing.
Yeah, the stories you tell, you're like literally DMing Steezy and being like, hey,
yeah,
I'm in the city, I can film you.
Yeah.
Is that how you kind of got a foot in the door with these folks?
Yes, I think
Cold
it was,
outreach.
Yes, I think it's just right person, right time. Literally just Instagram DM, Steezy got back to me, and then DM'd Kelly as well, and because of working for Steezy, that was kind of like a mutual connection. And then, yeah, then that's how he found me as well.
What's the other 20%?
I guess the 20% is like that initial dream that I had, that like flame to want to pursue this in the first place. I do attribute a lot of my success to the circle I have and like the friends I have around me. Like, this is a very lonely job sometimes, but to be able to call Kariza, well, what do you think about this? Or my circle in NYC, or even my roommates, so I can literally be like, yo, what do you think about this? And instant feedback right there. So I attribute a lot of my success to that.
The next thing I knew, I found myself at my favorite place in the world to pick up a lens for Casey Neistat himself. So I tried to pick up the lens, but they wouldn't give it to me because clearly I'm not Casey. There was no way I was failing, so I went full Karen mode and I asked to see a manager.
These are such nice shots here. And the thing is, like, I think a lot of people don't even appreciate how much thought goes into each one of these shots.
So this is Kariza's idea. Another play on like show, don't tell.
Right.
And she's like, oh my God, there's a big poster of Casey. You're talking about Casey. Why don't you like point to Casey?
And then there's the rack focus too, though.
You kind of like set like a pinpoint focus area, and then it's kind of just like I move out of that focus area, and then it focuses on Casey's face.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just like whatever happens to be in that pinpoint it's focusing on.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. And then this shot too is so nice.
You saw the camera, and it kind of hints to the next shot where it cuts to the footage from the camera.
And all of this is just kind of you guys playing and having fun in B&H, like inventing
Yes.
This isn't like written down. You're just like
no
coming
shot
up.
list or anything like that.
Okay, so you just show up and you just like get in the zone and make fun stuff and figure out the shots.
Yes,
and
yeah.
That's not the actual camera, right?
That is the actual camera.
It's the actual camera that you're
Yeah.
holding?
So you could just like pop your SD card out and pop it into the demo unit.
Oh, and that's what you did?
Yeah, so that's that camera right there.
Oh, cool.
So I was like freaking out. I'm like, I don't want to fail and I don't want to bother him. But I was texting Casey and he sent this video, which gave off permission for me to pick up the lens.
Hey, B&H, this is Casey Neistat. This is the order for that lens right there. And I give Colt permission to take the lens. Thank you.
So I was just waiting there. I didn't want to disappoint Casey, and I was just hoping that the
Is that the actual security cam?
So you see Kariza right here.
Mm-hmm.
She's recording this screen, which is this shot.
That's cool. Do you guys make videos a lot together?
We help each other all the time. So she lives in Toronto and I live in New York City. So whenever she comes, I'm like, oh, this is a great excuse to like have a cameraman. So then I try to like put her to work. Yeah.
What's it been like being like in a romantic relationship with someone that you're also working creatively with?
I think there has to be a boundary, especially if you're like, I'm a lifestyle creator making videos about my life. So I'd love to incorporate Kariza as well. But there's a line where if like all you make is relationship content, I think that's when it becomes a little toxic. But it is really nice to kind of have that understanding. She's way better at like writing than I am. So I'll just call her, oh my God, I can't get this out of my head. Like, how do I formulate this? And then we'll brainstorm, and having that like immediate feedback from somebody else is really, really good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
At this point, Casey got a hold of B&H to figure out the details. Thank you so much. After what felt like an eternity, I finally got the lens, and off it was 368.
A really nice sort of thing that happens here is like story, dialogue, and then there's like this nice, lovely sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Are you thinking about that balance of like dialogue and then motion or something else counterbalancing dialogue when you're editing and telling a story and thinking about pacing?
I think in planning, no. I'm just kind of like writing down my thoughts. And then when it comes to editing, you'll see it's just like, ooh, this is like way too much A-roll. You need some better thing to break it up, the pacing and stuff like that. And that's what kind of inspires the montages, yeah.
Yeah. There's so many little things in your videos.
Yeah.
So many details. It's just like they're packed with like fun little things. Where do all those things come from?
I originally had this like security camera shot in mind, and then I saw that bird and I was like, oh, how cool would it be if instead of it just being a random security camera, like it's a play on birds are spies from the government that spy on you or whatever.
Birds aren't real.
Yeah, that one, yeah. And then just like reversed the movement of the bird so it looked robotic and added sound effects. Yeah.
Right.
Come on. Is this guy like sleeping or something? Like. Ooh, Oscar, I'm so sorry.
What? What was that?
I was kind of hoping I could use a secret entrance.
No. What? This is my home.
Bro, come on, please.
No.
Who's doing the voice?
My roommate Tejas.
From where?
So I cut out like this like back door and he's literally just like lying. There's like a rat trapped back there and he's like lying on this like piece of cardboard, kind of like breaking his wrist to show the puppet. From learning from my friends, like you don't want to like dox yourself. So instead of doxing myself, I was like, oh, it would be fun if there's like a secret entrance. Why is Oscar the Grouch in this? There's no reason to, but it's just like Colt's world, you know?
Yeah.
So I just tried to like lean into that. So a lot of my inspiration, funny enough, comes from like my childhood. I feel like being able to indulge in things that you like kind of inherently influences your own style.
That's what it feels like. It feels like it's all of your things, your personality, the puppets, the characters, the like, it feels like you're just leaning into like all of your idiosyncrasies.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Love that shot.
Thank you.
Love that shot.
You got any lights down here? I can't see a thing.
It's a trash can. What do you expect?
Yeah, you got a point. Actually, I think I got something. It's my birthday.
Like that's a black transition right there.
Right.
Oh my god, it's so tight in here. Oscar, where do you go to the bathroom down here?
You don't want to know.
Can you just walk us through the actual like practical setup here? Like, when I was watching this, I was like, are you just like in a trash bag?
Yeah.
Or, like, what is the actual practical setup?
I went to Home Depot and bought these like big black contractor bags and then just like cut a hole and taped them together to make a tube. So this is probably like a 10-foot tube of trash bags. And then in this sequence, it's literally just like start from the one end, go to the other end, and then because the background's so dark, you can do these like black transitions to kind of hide these cuts. And it's just like crawling from the front to the back and then starting over again to continue like this like endless traveling, yeah.
Right.
Oscar, how much longer? I can't take it anymore.
Colt, we're right here.
What is that? Where does that come from?
That is just like a piece of cardboard that I cut out exit, and then I use just like a small, it's a Aperture MC Pro. Yeah.
A light behind it.
Yep. Like in a little RGB light.
Not a lot of people sort of mix realism with like fantasy on YouTube, at least that I've seen. And yeah, it's kind of fun to just see like the inside of your imagination for a minute.
Yeah.
How do you think about sort of like balancing fantasy world with real world? Is that something you think about in your videos actively, or are you just kind of going, with whatever your creativity is aiming you at?
This stuff is really fun, and I feel like once I started kind of leaning into showing Colt's world, my world, or whatever, that's when things started to work out. But you need to pre-produce, order props, and something like this takes so much longer than just like doing a vlog. I could have just walked inside through my door, but then adding this whole sequence like adds a whole day to production or whatever. The effort that you put in is kind of what separates you aside from the rest, and I'm trying to find like a perfect balance for this because this video took way too long to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean it took way too long? It just took a long time, or like you don't want to spend that much time on a single video because you want to like hit a certain cadence?
A little bit of both. I would love to make more videos more frequently, and if every video was like this video, that would not happen. This was supposed to be my birthday video, but it ended up coming out like 6 weeks after my birthday.
Do you have like a cadence that you're trying to hit right now?
Twice a month would be perfect for me. Yeah. I feel like that's enough time to get a good idea across, but there's enough leeway to where you can have like there's a lot of just like reshooting, but if I can consolidate that to like one day of reshoots or something like that would be a lot better. Yeah.
Cool.
I just figured I've been so lucky this past year, so let's give some luck to you. So I'm gonna give you my birthday wish, but you gotta close your eyes and no peeking. I know you're peeking, close your eyes. And think of that dream that you've always wanted to achieve. Now really hold on to it. Count of 3, blow out your candles. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Thanks for watching the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. This one was like a passion project, so it took a little while to come out, but new videos coming soon. NYC, cameras, whatever. Just let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.
That was such a nice, heartfelt moment at the end.
I feel like it goes back to kind of like the very beginning when I'm like, hey, can you watch this or whatever? It kind of breaks that fourth wall and kind of develops that like real connection to somebody. And I think it's cool that it's like, close your eyes. Okay, everybody like hears that, but then it's like, no, close your eyes. Kind of like brings you as the audience like into it. And you feel dumb like closing your eyes, doing a wish or whatever, but
right.
It's just cute, I guess, yeah.
And so what's the plan like when you think about like next couple of years?
For me, I just feel like I wasn't even supposed to be here. Like 100K being a YouTuber was that end goal. And then the fact that we're here now, I never kind of thought past that. So a lot of people, they say they want to be like movie directors or build these crazy things. And honestly, I just like enjoy being a YouTuber, and I just want to like live in that for as long as I can for now.
And do you have a next goal that you're working toward, or is that kind of still up in the air?
I guess up in the air. I've been saying my 2025 goal is FU money, so it'd be like so cool to just be like rich, I guess. But I want to do that as well as not have to rely on maybe brands as much. Kind of furthering Colt's world, building out like a brand for myself would be a lot of fun as well.
Why not relying on brands as much?
It's like building on borrowed land or something. I feel like the creator economy always fluctuates, so like sometimes brand deals are great, but they're not guaranteed. Maybe the whole industry switches up, but you never regret building for yourself. If I had something that's just like strictly pertains to just me or something that I've built, it'd be a lot better, I think.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Really appreciate you talking through this and spending some time with me.
Thank you.